Hi, my name is Tony Walton. Thanks for watching my video on the 3-stage healing system, or how I went from a wheelchair to being completely healthy, and how you can use this process to de-stress and heal loved ones and yourself. And of course, the best part, without pills. Your situation, well, you may be stressed. You may wake up in the middle of the night. You may have avoidance or stress triggers. You may be in pain or have an illness. That could be a diagnosis of stress, anxiety, depression, or even PTSD. Or maybe like me, you have had an accident and you're just in a lot of pain and want some relief. Well, I can help you with that. Imagine being completely relaxed and calm, both emotionally and physically, having peace in the turmoil of everyday life. Here you will learn how to have relief, physical and emotional, to de-stress and heal without pills, of course, to change the core things that can lead to pain, illness, and disease, to have a mindset of peace and health. You're also going to learn to use the first 3 of the 12 steps in the 3rd healing stage. Now, it isn't a 12-step program, although there are 12 steps in the 3rd stage. These 3 steps are quite simple and quite easy, and of course the 3rd stage in the healing system is of course the most powerful, but I would like to give that to you now for free. Why this healing system? If you've had any counseling or therapy, speaking of emotional things, the most popular technique in the psychiatric industry today is CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy. You've probably seen or heard of this if you've ever gone to some therapy. Those of you with just physical pain probably have no idea what that is, and that's a good thing. Studies have shown that EFT, which is the emotional freedom technique, to be as much as 50% more effective and faster than CBT. Now, this study was done over thousands of patients over a number of years. They were actually PTSD people, and when they found that just using CBT alone, about half of them got to the point where they had no symptoms, and that took about 15 sessions. With just EFT, 74% of the people went to no symptoms with only 3 sessions. I've learned EFT and some other techniques, and I put them all together to get even better results than just the EFT alone. Today, I don't bother using any of those, even though they're very good and very powerful. This one process that I've come up with, this one system that I've developed, is so much faster, easier, and more effective than anything else I've ever seen or heard about. Now, at the end of this video, I'll lead you through the first 3 steps, as I said, of the most powerful healing technique I know of. And after my own healing journey and years of helping many people, I now want to share this process with as many hurting people as I can, for free. Now, why, you ask, for free? Because I get what you may be going through. I get physical pain. I get trauma, both physical and emotional. I get being angry for a long time, and I get frustration with the medical system. I could tell you some stories. Most of all, I get regret. Now, we've all made some mistakes, and I actually made a big one that I had trouble forgiving myself for. It affected me for many, many years, and I want to share with you all that I've learned, because I want to spare you even the slightest bit of emotional pain, if you'll let me. And I want to save you years of your life spent in that pain, if you follow what I'm going to show you. How to heal by healing your emotions first. Now, you may want to know, what does emotion have to do with illness, pain, and disease? Well, quite a lot, actually. Even if you're injured in an accident as I was, this system I'm going to show you will help you heal faster and help to lower your physical pain. Now, whether you're religious or spiritual or not, that's fine. Increasing faith or belief or intent or attraction, whatever you'd like to call it, for healing and health would be a good thing. To use what God or Creator or your higher power has already supplied for us to stay healthy is easier than actually asking for a miracle. It also works so well, you may run out of things to pray for. Now, let me tell you my story, how I came to get into the whole healing world. I was briefly in a wheelchair from a motorcycle accident, and I had a ruptured bladder, and the muscles in my pelvic area stopped working. I couldn't walk. Basically, I was in a lot of pain, and once they kicked me out of the hospital, I complained a little bit about the pain, and I had to go to the bathroom actually, but I couldn't, so they signed me back in the hospital and gave me a catheter and sent me on home. Well, I was still in a lot of pain, and after a few days of re-injuring myself pretty much daily, sometimes twice a day, I was reluctantly sent to a rehab hospital, and there I used a walker to move around. I was basically leaning on my hands and swinging my legs, but I could also use the toes, and I would curl my toes, if you could picture this, curling my toes to drag my foot along the floor, and that's how I moved. Now, I did a trip with the walker from my hospital room door to the next door and back, and it was 45 minutes. I thought that was a pretty good time. Now, during this time, in the hospital and in the rehab hospital or at home, I didn't have a single muscle relaxant or painkiller. When they initially rushed me in, they gave me a bit of morphine out of the ambulance, but that was it. I was basically bedridden and in raw pain. One of the nurses in the rehab actually told me she's never seen anyone this much pain, and basically if I did anything too sudden or moved, even just moving my track pants on and off, if that was done just the slightest bit uneven, my whole pelvic area would lock up. Now, during this time, people were praying for me, but actually, honestly, it didn't do anything. I was still bedridden. So when I was just sitting in this hospital bed day after day, they wouldn't even come change the sheets because it was too much of a hassle to move me because I was in such pain. It would be 20 minutes to get me from the bed to the wheelchair. So they didn't do that. But people were praying for me. It didn't really do anything. So while I'm in this hospital bed, I wasn't complaining about the pain. I wasn't complaining about anything out of the ordinary. I wasn't even asking God for healing. I just said to him, I should do something useful while I'm here. And God said, get up, get out of bed, and walk. And at that, I'm like, yeah, I just did a 45-minute round trip. I can't walk. But it didn't heal me either. But when I ran out of things to distract myself with, I grabbed a walker and thought, I got nothing better to do. I may as well try. And I was able to walk around the entire floor of the hospital. And I started my healing from that point on. But it didn't happen until I actually tried to do something. And the next day, I was timing my laps. And even the nurse there, when I was going around the floor with my walker timing my laps, they, what are you doing out of bed? Because the very day before, I was bedridden and they wouldn't even come touch me. I was in so much pain. Now I'm just doing laps around the floor. It's great. After I got out of the rehab, I did do some physical therapy, but wasn't physiotherapy. It was chiropractic. Now, when I went there, they moved my pelvic area back into place and the healing accelerated. I might want to say here that the reason my whole lower pelvic area was out of alignment was because I caved in the gas tank of the motorcycle with my pelvic area. I was being sideswiped by one car, which wasn't a big deal, but while I'm being distracted by the guy trying to kill me, I didn't notice a big white van turning left in front of me, and I slammed right into the side of that van. So that's how I caved in the gas tank. 1 month later, exactly 30 days from the time I got out of that wheelchair, I was playing hockey, and I played 2 games that night. Badly, but I did play, which is pretty amazing for someone who had such a bad pelvic injury. And I'm a goalie, so you use the groin area a lot, actually. After that, I was walking okay, and I was wondering, I'm going to the chiropractor. He's putting my whole area back in line, and everything's fine, but why do I have to keep going back? Why is the bone structure going out of alignment again, and why do I still have back pain? Now, a lot of people with chronic pain will ask the same question. So I figured there must be a source of pain and physical problems higher upstream from what I'm experiencing here, because the accident's done, my bladder healed, I'm no longer bleeding internally, the bones are put back in place. So I'm thinking there's something else causing all this pain and all this misalignment that the chiropractor keeps having to put back in line. So following a few links on a doctor's website, I learned a technique, and it looked pretty fascinating. It had an amazing video of all these people getting healed of great things, so I sent away for it and followed along. And I was working on my back pain, and nothing happened. So I kept working, and while following along on one of these videos, they were going through different techniques and things to work on, emotional things, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just follow along and get the thing going. Anyway, one day, wham, 90% of my back pain evaporated instantly. Now, it took me a couple weeks to get to this instant healing of 90% of my back pain, but what the interesting thing was, the pain was related to emotional issues, and the emotional issues were what made my back weak. And when you have something weak, they get injured. And also, weak things don't heal very quickly. But by resolving the underlying emotional conflicts, it allowed my body to heal itself as it was designed. And that was amazing to me. I thought, what on earth does this emotional issue have to do with back pain or a bike accident? But it didn't. it had to do with something from my childhood, and that made my back weak, and that prevented it from healing after the bike accident. I thought that was quite interesting. Well, unresolved conflict was a thing that was upstream causing my pain and causing the bones to go out of alignment. So once I learned this technique, I started wiping out all my bad memories. I would see people walking down the street and I'd say, hey, you look like you're in pain. Total strangers, by the way. And I would say, hey, can I try and get you out of pain? They say, sure, why not? And people will try a strange thing once. It's amazing how many people would do this. So I'd show them this technique, and I started healing their feet and their wrists and their back pain and their knee pain. In fact, on 2 different occasions, I had someone with twisted knee, and they were, leaning on the other leg and saying, oh, no, you can't help me. It's an old injury. And I'm like, hey, let's give it a shot. When we worked on an old emotional wound, one guy, football injury from high school. He said, oh, yeah, it's bad for a while, and I just kind of twisted it. I'll be okay. Let's give it a try, I says. Anyway, for him, when we got rid of the anger he had for some guy hitting him in the knees during a football game, got rid of all that emotion, his knee started working. And same thing with the other guy. The knee started working. So we're talking a few minutes here that these guys who were unable to really walk properly suddenly didn't even have a limp. That's the power of your body to heal itself when you get the emotional conflict out of the way, which is really the core of why I'm showing you this. Even if you have a physical injury like I did, it will help you heal a lot faster and take the pain. Well, I started thinking, well, how can I do this, full time? How can I do things? So I decided to get an education, and during that I had to do some hours. So I volunteered at a prayer center, and instead of doing the healing for them, I started showing them how it works and what to do themselves. Now, by how it works, I was showing them how they got injured, why they're sick, and how much control they have over it. The success rate went from about 1% of the people being healed to everyone having emotional healing, and a lot of them loss of pain. And one lady, I don't know if this will happen with all diabetics, but she did call back and say she didn't need her insulin. So, talk to your doctor about things like that. But, hey, go for it. Get healed. Why not? Now, there are 3 areas of the healing: physical, emotional, and spiritual. I had to turn around with the spiritual, accelerated the healing with the physical therapy, then cleaned myself out emotionally to be pain and symptom free. Now that's what happened to me. That's my journey there, the 3 areas. And then by cleaning out emotions and all those things, it allows the body to heal up as it was designed to do. It was the emotions that kept me weak. Now, as I said, I started wiping out all my bad memories. And interesting story, when I was working on, I don't really like reading, and that goes back to, I think, grade 6 or something. I was just infuriated at something like spelling or who knows what. But anyway, when I got rid of the emotion around that I don't want to read, my vision cleared up. And the computer screen got a little clearer. Another example is from my youngest son, Josh. When he was a baby, I just got to work, and my wife called and said, Josh, who's like a year old at that time, she said, well, he's not feeling well, he's has diarrhea, and he stopped drinking. And I'm thinking, that's not good for someone that small. So I tell the boss, I gotta go, turned right around, got on the subway, about a 15-minute walk to the subway. Once I got there, I started doing everything I know to do, every kind of prayer, and there's some other techniques that I've learned. I did that as well. And what happened when I got home was I walked in the house, and there he was. I'm like, oh, what happened? She said, oh, well, about 15 minutes after I called you, he just got up, started drinking, and he's been okay ever since. I'm like, that's awesome. Free day off work. So that was good. A couple of years ago, I got a call from the school, from the principal, and said, yeah, Joshua has fallen from the top of the monkey bars. He hit his head. We've got ice on his head. His vision is blurred. He's feeling like he wants to throw up, and he wants to go to sleep. So we need you to come take him to the hospital. Now, those of you who are parents, you can probably imagine what went through my mind. And what would you do in that situation? You got a call, and I looked up on my apps, and a little medical app there, and that was every single symptom of a concussion was what he had. But I said, no, I can't come. I will call you back in 15 minutes, and we'll see if he's any better. And I hung up. So 15 minutes later, after me doing what I know to do, the principal said, no, he hasn't improved at all. And I said, well, I still can't come. I'll give you a call later, and hung up on her. But I was refusing, actually, to accept that. I knew he had a concussion. He had every symptom of one, but I was refusing to accept God would allow that to continue or that would happen. And I just basically didn't ask for healing. I demanded it. I said, no, this is not what's going to happen. Eventually, I was able to leave work. I got there an hour later to the school. I got to the principal's office, and I saw my son, and what he said to me was, I want to go ride my bike. And I said, great. So do you want to sleep? No. Are you feeling like you want to throw up? No. I couldn't see a bump on his head. I said, your eyes, are they blurry? A little bit. So, again, he just wanted to leave school. So we got the afternoon off. And the next day, no sign of the concussion whatsoever. Again, the same Josh, a little later, another call from the principal. Said that he had ridden his bike down some stairs and wiped out and marked up his cheek. And again, the next day, same thing. I refused it. No sign of it the next day. My wife has arrhythmia, or had arrhythmia actually, which is extra beats in the heart. At sometimes that would go up past 200 beats a minute, and she would feel very weak, and we'd have to take her to the hospital. When we first started going out, she was having an operation. They would snake something up a major artery into her heart and start electrically zapping heart cells and heart tissue, trying to stop the extra beat. Once she recovered, that operation was completely useless, did absolutely nothing. She was still on medication and had symptoms while on medication. So I said, there's some other things we could try. We actually went to the chiro. He fixed up the top of her neck, and her heartbeat went back to normal. So she was able to do her first pregnancy without any medication or symptoms. But when she was pregnant with Josh, they started to come back. So continued with the chiropractor, was off all medication, but she was still starting to have symptoms when she was stressed. So again, we're learning more about how to do things with prayer and faith and that. Long story short, today she doesn't have arrhythmia. She is on no medication. She has no symptoms. And maybe once every other month or something like that, if she's really stressed, she might have something, but she refuses it, and it goes away. So today she has no symptoms and on no medication. How to help others and yourself? Well, emotional conflict is normally the first cause of illness. Now, God has provided many ways for us to be healed and stress-free, and if you don't know if God will heal you, then let's just apply what He's already provided and watch what's going to happen. Imagine how much it would cost for a doctor to heal you, and how much have you already spent already on whatever illness or pain is bothering you now. As I mentioned, I want to help as many people as possible learn this short technique so that they can have some peace and healing. Below you'll see a link that you can donate whatever you think the value is. The price you pay is used to continue to reach and help as many hurting people as possible. Now there are 3 stages in the healing process. You will learn each of these in detail in the coming paid seminar. But as I said, for free, as a thank you for watching to the end of this video, here is the first 3 of the 12 steps from the 3rd and most powerful healing stage. First thing to do, find a quiet place without distraction. This may take as long as 20 minutes, so find yourself a quiet place. Expect distractions while you're doing this work. It happens a lot, and I want you just to ignore these interruptions. I want you to play each step of this video and pause it until you've done that step, until you're finished. And just take your time. Step 1. Picture yourself in the most peaceful, calm, and safe place you can. Could be a beach, a meadow, an old childhood memory. Picture yourself in heaven, whatever you like. Invite God or Jesus into that place. What is He doing? What do you see Him doing? Now, if you can't see Him, that's fine. Do you feel His presence, sense His peace? Step 2. I want you to go up to Him and give Him the biggest hug. Now, how does that feel? Good. Now, I want you to focus in on that love, that peace, and acceptance He has for you, and just let that sink in. And as that sinks in, just let all the hurt drain out. I want you to give Him all your emotion, all the hurt, all the negative emotion, everything that wants to drain out, just let it drain out and give all that to Him. Step 3. The Bible says cast all your cares and burdens on Him. I want you to give Him all your cares and worries and guilty acts all at once. Everything you've done, everything that was done to you. I want you to give Him all the stuff in your head. Like you're dumping the trash at the curb. Just give it all to Him. Give Him your finances. Give Him all the worries about a job or at the job. Your work stressors, any bullies at the job. Give Him all your concerns about your spouse or lack of a spouse. Give Him all your concerns about your children. Give Him all your concerns about your grandchildren. Give Him all the concerns with your relationships. Give Him all the things that are bothering you about the house. The bills, the finances, the repairs, everything. Give Him all the neighborhood issues, anyone living beside you causing you trouble. Give Him all your physical pains. Give Him all the health issues that you have. Give Him all the health issues of your family members. Give Him any identity issues. If you've been brought up thinking you're a piece of garbage and you're not sure who you are, give that all to Him now. Give Him all the hurts from other family members. Give Him any offenses that happened in the church, people from the church. Even if a pastor's let you down, give Him all that. Give Him all those events and the emotions they caused. Good. How does that feel? Now, just spend a little bit of time just soaking in that feeling of peace. Feel that hug. And while you're enjoying that, as I mentioned earlier, there's a link below to donate. If you're happy with the results of this video, just please help others by donating to buy more advertising and share this video with your friends. And if you'd like to email me with success stories or questions, you'll find my email below as well. Thanks for watching.